I've been a long-haul trucker for almost 15 years. I've driven the frostbitten highways of North Dakota, watched strange lights move across the plains of Wyoming, and even spent one terrifying night at the so-called Devil's Rest stop in Utah. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for what I experienced last month on Sandhill Road. I've debated for weeks about whether to tell this story, but if you're a trucker, or hell, even a night driver in general, you need to know the rules of Sandhill Tunnel. Because if you don't follow them, you don't come out. They don't teach you this in CDL school. It started with an easy route, Denver to Reno. Standard freight delivery, just some replacement parts and sealed pallets for a factory in Nevada. Dispatch said the quickest way was a straight shot across US 50. But another driver, Old Ed, pulled me aside at the truck stop diner. "Don't take Sandhill Road at night," he said, eyes darting to make sure no one was listening. "What's wrong with it?" I asked, sipping bad coffee. Ed leaned closer. "There's a tunnel about 20 miles in. People say the whole place is cursed. Sometimes trucks break on their own, and sometimes drivers don't come back out." I chuckled. "I'm not superstitious, Ed. You should be." Before I left, he scribbled something on a napkin and handed it to me. "If you have to take Sandhill Road, memorize these. These are the only rules that'll get you through. The 10 rules of Sandhill Tunnel. 1. Do not enter the tunnel after midnight. If you arrive at 12:01 a.m., wait until sunrise. 2. Turn your radio off before entering. Never turn it back on inside. 3. Drive exactly 35 miles per hour while in the tunnel. No more, no less. 4. Do not look in your side mirrors between mile markers 2 and 3. 5. If you see red tail lights ahead, do not follow. They aren't real. 6. If your truck's brakes engage on their own, do not fight it. Let the truck stop completely. Wait until you hear 3 knocks on the cab door, then drive again. 7. If you hear crying, turn up your air conditioning and do not acknowledge the sound. 8. Do not open your windows for any reason, even if you see a stranded child. 9. If you smell gasoline at mile marker 5, you are being hunted. Accelerate to 50 miles per hour until you reach mile marker 6. Then return to 35 miles per hour immediately. 10. If you emerge from the tunnel and the sky is red, turn your truck around and drive back through. Do not stop until you see stars overhead. A shortcut. I threw Ed's napkin in my cup holder and drove on. Around 11:40 p.m., I reached Sandhill Road. It was a narrow, unlit road cutting through endless pine forests. My headlights barely pierced the darkness. And there it was, Sandhill Tunnel. A yawning black mouth in the side of the mountain, rimmed with crumbling concrete and old warning signs. Caution, structural instability. No entry after dark. I checked the clock. 11:52 p.m. Perfect timing, I muttered and shifted gears. Mile marker 1, radio silence. As I entered, the FM radio fizzled out, replaced by static. I remembered rule 2, turn your radio off before entering. Never turn it back on inside. I hesitated. What harm can static do? I mumbled. But as the static crackled, faint voices bled through. Don't let them see, don't let them see. My hand shot to the dial. I killed the radio. The tunnel fell into dead silence, save for the hum of my engine. Mile marker 2, reflections. A faded white sign read, Mile 2. Rule 4 echoed in my head. Do not look in your side mirrors between mile markers 2 and 3. But old habits die hard. I glanced at my driver's side mirror. and saw another truck. It was identical to mine. Same make, same company logo, same dangling pine-scented air freshener. But the driver wasn't me. It was a woman with hollow eyes and a mouth stretched too wide, grinning from ear to ear. She raised a finger and wagged it at me like I'd been naughty. Mile marker 3, tail lights. I floored it for mile marker 3, forcing my eyes forward. Relief washed over me as the sign came into view. Just then, 2 glowing red tail lights flickered ahead. A semi? I remembered Rule 5. If you see red tail lights ahead, do not follow. They aren't real. The tail lights swerved sharply. The trailer jackknifed it. A voice whispered from my passenger seat. You could save them, hit the brakes. My heart pounded, but I kept my foot steady. Mile marker 4, the first stop. Suddenly my brakes slammed on. The wheel jerked. The truck screeched to a halt. Rule 6. If your truck's brakes engage on their own, do not fight it. Let the truck stop completely. Wait until you hear 3 knocks on the cab door, then drive again. I froze. For 30 seconds nothing happened. Then, knock, knock, knock. I gripped the wheel with white knuckles and pressed the gas. Mile marker 5, hunted. A sharp gasoline stench filled the cab. Rule 9 screamed in my head. If you smell gasoline at mile marker 5, you are being hunted. Accelerate to 50 miles per hour until you reach mile marker 6, then return to 35 miles per hour immediately. I jammed the accelerator. Behind me, something massive scraped along the tunnel walls. The rearview mirror showed nothing, but I felt it, some enormous presence just inches from my trailer. The smell grew so thick I gagged. Then silence. I hit mile marker 6 and eased back to 35 miles per hour. Mile marker 7, the child. A small figure appeared in the road ahead. A boy no older than 6, crying, waving his arms. I slowed instinctively. Then I remembered Rule 8. Do not open your windows for any reason, even if you see a stranded child. Please help me, my mommy's trapped. The voice was impossibly loud, as if it came from inside the cab. I clenched my jaw and pressed the gas. In my side mirror, the boy stood up straight. His face split open like a paper mask, and inside was nothing. The tunnel's end. Or is it? At last, I saw the faint light of the tunnel's exit. Relief flooded me, but as I emerged, my stomach dropped. The sky wasn't black. It wasn't blue. It was deep blood red. Rule 10. If you emerge from the tunnel and the sky is red, turn your truck around and drive back through. Do not stop until you see stars overhead. But what happens if you don't? I'm about to find out. Now let's begin the part 2. When I first told this story, I thought getting through Sandhill Tunnel was the hard part. I was wrong. The rules are there for a reason, and once you break one, the rest don't mean a damn thing anymore. I should have turned around when the sky went red. I should have gone back through the tunnel and prayed for stars overhead. But I didn't. When I came out of the tunnel, I was met with an alien landscape. The highway stretched ahead like normal, but everything beyond it was wrong. The sky burned crimson. The trees stood unnaturally still as if made of wax. There were no stars. No moon. I thought it was some weird weather phenomenon at first, but then I saw the clock on my dashboard. At 12 a.m. Exactly midnight. But it had been 12:17 a.m. when I entered the tunnel. Time doesn't move here the way you think it does. That's what old Ed told me later. But by then it was too late. Rule 10 is broken. The napkin with the tunnel rules slid off the dash and landed at my feet. Rule 10. If you emerge from the tunnel and the sky is red, turn your truck around and drive back through. Do not stop until you see stars overhead. I should have followed it, but the thought of going back in there, back through that dark hellhole, made my stomach turn. I told myself, it's fine. This is just a dust storm or something. I'll be out of it in a few miles. So I kept driving. And that's when things started going wrong. Mile marker 7 again? After 10 minutes, I passed a mile marker. Mile 7. My heart sank. Mile 7? But I already passed mile 7 inside the tunnel. I checked my GPS. No signal. The road curved sharply, leading into another black mouth of concrete. Another tunnel. This one wasn't on any map. You weren't supposed to see this one, a voice whispered from my CB radio, even though it was switched off. The second tunnel. I gripped the wheel and eased into the darkness. This tunnel was narrower. The walls seemed closer, wet with condensation that smelled faintly of rot. My headlights flickered. A figure appeared at the edge of my vision. A man in an orange jumpsuit, covered in soot and grime. He was walking along the wall, dragging one hand across the concrete. And as I passed, his head snapped toward me. His face had no eyes, just two deep, gaping sockets. Don't look at him. Don't look. The whispering voices were back. My speedometer dipped below 35 miles per hour. Rule 3. Drive exactly 35 miles per hour while in the tunnel. No more, no less. But my foot was heavy with fear. I slowed to 30. The dashboard lights flickered, and my truck groaned like it was straining under a massive weight. Then, out of nowhere, the engine cut off. The headlights died. I was plunged into pitch black. A scraping sound came from the roof of the cab. The knock, knock, knock. But this time it wasn't at the door. It was inside the sleeper compartment. We told you to stay at 35. I grabbed my flashlight and turned, shaking. There, crouched in the shadows of the sleeper, was a figure in a dirty mechanic's uniform. His face was a blur, as if my eyes couldn't focus on him. "Do you have an appointment?" he hissed, tilting his head unnaturally far to the side. I screamed and scrambled back into the driver's seat. The truck's engine roared back to life, but my feet weren't on the pedals. The wheels spun violently as if guided by unseen hands. The figure in the sleeper whispered in my ear, "Don't fight it. Your cargo now." I wanted to bail, jump out of the cab and take my chances. But something told me that if I opened the door, there wouldn't be a road beneath me. Just an endless black void. As the truck barreled forward, I remembered what old Ed had said back at the diner. "There's more than one tunnel, kid. The first one tests you. But the second one, that's where the dead ride." "What does that mean?" I had asked. "It means if you break the rules in the first tunnel, they take you to the second. And there are no rules there. Just them." "Who's them?" Ed never answered. Now I was finding out for myself. A figure appeared in the road ahead. A woman in a white dress, waving frantically. Her mouth moved, but I couldn't hear her over the roar of the engine. The windows fogged up with condensation. Then words appeared in the glass, written backwards from the outside. "Let me in." I reached for the window switch. Rule 8 screamed in my head. Do not open your windows for any reason, even if you see a stranded child. But this wasn't a child. It was my mother. At least it looked like her. "Please, honey, let me in. It's cold out here." My finger hovered over the switch. The siren's trick. At the last second, I slammed my hand down and turned on the air conditioning instead. The cab filled with freezing air. The woman's face twisted in rage. Her mouth split open far too wide, revealing rows of sharp teeth. She slammed her hands on the glass. "Stay in the truck," the whispering voices screamed. I closed my eyes and kept driving. The tunnel ends, or does it? Finally, faint light appeared ahead. The exit. But this time the light wasn't natural. It was sickly yellow, like the glow of a sodium street lamp. The figure in the sleeper compartment spoke one last time. "We're almost home, driver. You belong to us now." The truck lurched forward into the light. I thought I was done. I thought I'd made it out alive. But when I saw what was waiting for me on the other side, I realized the tunnel never ends. Sip your coffee and enjoy the last part of this dark story. I thought I made it out. The second tunnel had ended. The blinding yellow glow faded, and I blinked at what looked like a normal stretch of highway. Mile marker 7 passed again. The clock read 12 a.m. again. And I knew deep down I'd never left. My CB radio crackled. "Unit 37, you're late for your toll payment." The voice was hollow, mechanical, and wet, like someone gargling water while they spoke. "I don't owe anything," I shouted back. A deep chuckle echoed through the cab. "Every driver who breaks the rules pays. You broke 3, maybe 4. That's double the toll. Rule 5, broken." I looked at the paper napkin of rules still crumpled on my dashboard. Never stop your truck, no matter what you see outside. But as the yellow glow dimmed, my truck shuddered to a dead stop. The engine cut out. I didn't touch a thing. The wheels spun loosely in my hands as if disconnected from reality. Something was forcing me to stop. And then I saw them. Figures emerged from the tree line on both sides of the road. Not men. Tall, skeletal things with truck headlights for eyes and long, greasy limbs that scraped the asphalt as they walked. Their mouths were enormous grills of rusted metal, opening and closing with squealing hinges. They spoke in unison. "The toll. The toll. The toll." Their voices rattled my teeth. Breaking Rule 2. I panicked and grabbed my phone, thinking maybe I could call for help. Rule 2 screamed in my mind. "Do not use your phone inside or near the tunnel. Ever." But I didn't care anymore. I dialed 911. All I heard on the line was static. Then a voice spoke. "Help isn't coming, driver. This is your home now." I threw the phone down as the screen melted like wax. As I watched in horror, a semi-truck appeared in the distance, its trailer swaying wildly. It careened toward us, then skidded to a halt. The driver's window rolled down. I expected to see another trucker. Instead, there was nothing. No driver. The rig sat there idling as though alive on its own. Another driver who didn't follow the rules, the toll collectors hissed. Their body feeds the road now. Their rig rides the loop forever. I realized then that every truck I'd seen in the tunnel had no driver. They weren't passing through. They were stuck. One of the creatures slithered closer, its rusted grill mouth opening wide. "Break one more rule. Then we'll take you fully." I glanced at the rules. Only Rule 7 remained intact. Do not honk your horn for any reason. The sound will draw them. But my hand hovered over the horn anyway. If I broke it, maybe they'd come for me quickly. Maybe I'd die before they dragged me away. I slammed the horn. The sound echoed unnaturally loud in the still air. And then, the trees split open. A massive, chittering, centipede-like creature with hundreds of human arms and truck headlights for eyes crawled out. The toll collectors knelt. The overseer has come. It was the size of a skyscraper, its long body coiling around the tunnel entrance. "Driver 37, it boomed. You are ours now." I screamed, slamming my foot on the gas. The engine roared to life again. But the road beneath me peeled like old wallpaper, revealing an endless black void. The overseer spoke again. "Your kind built these roads on burial grounds. We demanded sacrifices. So rules were made. Obey and you pass. Fail and you feed the road. Thousands of drivers before you have failed. You've seen their rigs riding forever." I saw mile marker 7 ahead again. The clock still read 12 a.m. The overseer's massive jaws opened in the sky above me. "There is no leaving, driver 37. You ride for us now. If you're hearing this, don't take Sandhill Tunnel. Don't even look for it. Because if you break a single rule, you'll never make it back out. You'll drive forever like me."